I watched the discourse unfold with some skepticism, as is wise with social media storms. However, when it transpired councillors and the MP were liaising with police on the matter, this gave it some credence. When it was featured in the press, this added more weight. I regularly watched for updates, like others mystified about how such a thing could happen, and heartbroken for the poor lady. If it could happen to her, it could happen to our vulnerable relatives, or indeed to any of us. Things we take for granted, like leaving your home and expecting to return to it without having been invaded by strangers, were called into question. I thought of my grandmother, who moved here from the slums of East London with my grandfather in the 1930s. It was Essex then. She and her neighbours were so proud of their little piece of paradise, keeping the houses and gardens pristine. They fought a world war to hang on to that dream, and the Luftwaffe only damaged a bit of Granny's brickwork. She stayed in that house, raising her only son, losing her husband young, enduring crippling arthritis until she went into hospital at 98, never to return. I thought if she could see the area now, and if she heard about such wicked events, she would turn in her grave. Lowlives had conned their way in once, pretending to be carers and stealing her purse, but they never tried to move in. The 1990s were halcyon days compared to now. The story was finally featured in the press on June the 11th. The Daily Mail blasted the police and their lack of action. Its journalist had visited the scene and photographed foreign-looking people going in and out of the property. These included 2 middle-aged women, a man and a young boy. One had an untaxed Mercedes and the other had a BMW. Someone's doing well for themselves. It does rather scream organised crime. The article reported antisocial behaviour in and around the property and in surrounding streets. This included loud music, stealing, public urination, and worse. The journalists attempted to question the inhabitants and quoted a woman as saying, "The police said everything is good. They say it's all fine. We don't speak anymore. Nothing is happening, and it is fine." Perhaps not coincidentally, 9 days after the story broke, the Metropolitan Police decided they could act. On June the 20th, they entered the house and evicted the inhabitants. The Mail did a follow-up piece on this, as did the Daily Express. A 19-year-old woman was served with the eviction notice, then arrested on suspicion of squatting in a residential property, shoplifting from a nearby charity shop, and, who'd have thought it, immigration offences. She was bailed, really, and then appeared in the far-flung Colchester Magistrates' Court to hear the charges. I don't know if it will progress to a criminal trial, quite possibly not, because magistrates can deal with minor crimes. If there is to be a court case, she probably hasn't been remanded in custody. Whether the woman has been summarily charged by a magistrate, or whether the Crown Court awaits, squatting in a residential property is punishable by a 6-month prison sentence and/or a £5,000 fine. These are paltry penalties for such a crime, and in the current weak system, would somebody, if found guilty, even serve or pay that? Quite why nobody else was arrested or charged is another mystery. They could be doing the same thing somewhere else to another unfortunate soul. It all seems so inadequate, and it's no wonder confidence in the authorities is at an all-time low. As for the victim, the lady is said to have stayed with family in the West Country while the sorry affair played out. Her next-door ally and others rallied to her cause, and once the invaders were evicted, friends and family took all of the furniture out of the house, making piles for disposal. They claimed the migrants had soiled and damaged all of it. Whether this was true or not, you could argue it was psychologically tainted, violated by predatory strangers. The shock Chingfordians felt seems to have been nothing compared to that of the wronged woman. It is reported that as a result of the outrage, she became badly unwell. A heart attack is the rumour, and will need to sell the house to pay for her care. We must hope she recovers and lives the rest of her days in a safe and tranquil place. preferably far away from the cesspit that Sadiq Khan's London has become. The system appears to have failed her, but we need to make sure it does not fail anyone else in the same situation. Never one for delicacy, our MP said that the squatters were scum, and indeed there is something especially evil about what they appear to have done. They seem to have abused the sanctity of someone's home, as well as made a mockery of our laws and values. It is not a nice word, but they appear to be parasites, here to take what they can and not care who they hurt. They seem to be leeching from the country they probably despise. There should certainly be an investigation into how the police handled this case. Sir Ian has written to Yvette Cooper to ask if the law can be tightened around so-called squatting. Even if it can't be, the guidance to police can surely be saner. If a system can allow such a farce to occur, with authorities impotent and the wrongdoer favoured over the vulnerable, something really must change. Because, as the old adage has it, an Englishman's home should be his castle.